I just started the podcast broadcast. We are live right now. So if you want to join us visually and join in on the conversation, youtube.com/beefvegan or any of our social media pages, Rock 102.1 on Facebook and Beef Vegan on Facebook, and then on Twitch, Beef Vegan Presents. And in studio, very special guest. You can look at them and you can make fun of them by trolling on comments. We got Herb Stratford. Good morning, Herb.
Good morning.
Oh, don't be all.
Sorry, no, I'm trying to figure out where that echo was, and it was me. So never mind. Good morning.
Oh, you muted that. Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right, yeah. So welcome. And of course, we got Herb on because we got a bunch of things being released into theaters and onto the streaming networks this weekend. And speaking of streaming, for the very first time ever, streaming is now outselling cable television.
Yeah, I saw that. Isn't that crazy?
Yes, it's the beginning of the end for cable TV.
Yep.
Even though we are now combined, subscribed to so many streaming services, we're paying more than cable TV. That's the irony. Like, at what point will we get to a point where we get a package, a good package, not just a package owned by Disney, a crossover package that is beneficial to the consumer? Is that ever going to be the case or no?
You know, it's hard to say. I think there's going to be some reconciliation. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be stuff that's going to fall by the wayside. The other interesting headline this week was that Disney Plus has more subscribers than Netflix worldwide.
Yeah, there was a lot of big upsets and victories this week. And, you know, I don't know if you recall, Herb, when they first announced Disney Plus, I geeked out on it saying, oh, no, the game is over. Disney is going to run this because they have all the content, right? All the good big blockbusters, especially when they said they were going to have Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, Marvel and Star Wars, I mean, obviously that's a deep catalog, right?
Right.
So there's no question about that. But the other thing, I think the real tipping point for Disney is they got all the kids stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, if you got kids, you're like, well, and you're picking, you're like, well, hell.
You have to.
I mean,
You have to for all those Disney classics, right? So initially I thought, okay, it's game over. But when Disney Plus first came out, it was underwhelming, to say the least. And I'm like, oh, actually, Netflix still has a chance, and some of these other, like HBO Max, still has a chance. But then recently, Disney Plus announced that they were going to roll out R-rated films.
Yeah, exactly. So you got the Deadpools, you got all that. You got the Marvel Defenders, which would be, you know, Jessica Jones and Daredevil and stuff. So you're right. You know, they're going to address that issue. They're going to thumb their nose at the angry moms, right, who don't want any R-rated content,
Right.
because they know that's the one place where they could get beat, and they're not going to get beat.
Yeah, now they're not going to get beat because they still own the Fox catalog, and it rolls out the, you know, just limitless possibilities. And now Disney essentially owns all the content in the world, or at least a majority of it.
They own so much, all that New Line stuff. But I wonder why, hearing how you see it. It's a lot of kid stuff. Is this why HBO decided to slash like 40 animated kids programs? Because they say it doesn't fit our catalog going forward. I think they're just going to keep doubling down on that R-rated stuff.
I think you're
that
right.
WB's doing.
I think you're right, and I think that's, you know, and that's what's going on with HBO because of the Discovery now, you know, sort of ownership situation. You're right. I think they've realized very wisely, if you've got a niche, stick with it. Don't try and be everything to everybody.
Right.
They're getting edgier now. They're branding condoms and sex toys with Marvel and all that stuff now. So try to get that new push.
Yeah.
Let me check Rico's tabs here for a second. Hang on a second.
Yeah. I got the Iron Man condom, and it was false representation. You know. All right, we're gonna keep the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast, where we're gonna talk about Disney Plus's She-Hulk after we do our show open, and then coming back, we're gonna talk about which one are you most excited about beyond? Well, you know what? When we return, let's talk about the return of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing we're going to dip into. Plus, we're going to be covering Beast, Echoes, which is a Netflix series, and Spin Me Round, which is coming to theaters. All that and more coming up next on Beef Vegan Presents. Join us on the podcast broadcast or keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. Clear. All right. So She-Hulk, yeah, which I told the joke and observation. It's a joke that has truth to it. Is that once She-Hulk gets around to the episode where she bangs a dude, that Amazon sex is going to go through the roof as far as trending on Pornhub. That's going to be like the number one search thing.
It happened.
Yeah. It's happened already? What do you mean?
Well, if you've seen more than one episode.
Well, fuck you. Fuck you, Herb Stratford. This guy coming in to... What a snob.
How many episodes did you get, Herb?
I've seen 4.
Of She-Hulk.
Uh-huh.
He's like, just that scene on repeat.
You're just
Like, how-
You're such a dick, dude. Seriously.
Dude,
you
no,
just
think
brag
about it.
that.
Think about it though. They have to give me stuff so I can talk about it. They can't just like let me watch it when you guys watch
They
it.
get. Well, first off, I talk
Us
about stuff all the time.
normies.
Get me on the list.
Don't hate the player.
You know what?
I-
It was a very short window too. It was like they gave it to me on like Saturday morning and said by Monday morning at 9 a.m. you have to watch it. So Monday morning at 7 a.m. I'm like, oh crap, I had to watch 4 of them, back to back, just like make sure it doesn't stop. So yeah.
I hate you, Herb.
Tough life.
All right. See, I was recording that, so I'm gonna play that as a speed break. Herb Hulk. Yes. All right. So while I edit this up together, we are going to talk more about She-Hulk because he can't give spoilers, but we will give early reviews. I seen it. We'll talk a little bit about that. But this morning we opened up the show talking about the major news that's happening. If you own a Mac product, you could be a victim here soon. At least that's what Mac is telling people. And we joked about it. So in case you missed it, with something like this.
Right. No nonsense, real and raw, just like you like it.
He's corrupt, he's inexperienced, and he lies.
Broadcasting from a broom closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios, it's Beef Vegan Presents.
Yo, welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents Live. I'm Rock 102.1 KFMA, streaming worldwide at KFMA.com. Happy Friday. What is it? August 18th, 19th? 19th. To you. Good morning, Powers.
Good morning, Beef.
Good morning, Rico.
Buongiorno.
Oh, we got a super show lined up for you on this Friday. A little bit later on, Buzzkill, Herb Stratford's going to be in studio breaking down what we can watch this weekend. Powers is getting ready to go across the country, do a little family vacay. And Rico is ready to work out twice today before going to bounce at a bar. It's lined up. We are stoked about this weekend. And we're going to get into a lot of things that we're happy about. But right now, there's a great American scare. It's a global scare, if you will, if you own an iPhone. And I immediately, I know, you give me that dirty look. I do feel bad. I immediately regret suggesting to Powers that he needs to get on the iPhone bandwagon. And now, in my defense, you were single at the time, and I said that, there is some phone shame in the dating game. And if you got a different color in your little text bubbles, it could inadvertently C-block you. And I encourage you to jump on the iOS bandwagon, as I have been on for a few years now. And you did, and now you got a girlfriend. Now, of course, it's not necessarily related, but it's coincidental.
Yeah, that's the beef science right there. It all adds up.
Well-
I said if you did this thing, it'll work out. It did.
Well, it did.
So that's why.
Correlation.
Yeah, you can't argue that it didn't work out. Now, we can't necessarily pinpoint the phone being the reason, but still, before iPhone, single. After iPhone, girlfriend. Is that timeline? Does that line up?
It does.
Okay, so I'm sure you can poke holes in it, and that's fine.
Well, I'll be honest with you. The defense rests because she even did at one point say like, "Oh, you and your fancy iPhone," because she doesn't have one.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's another thing. That's again, it's a coincidence, maybe, but at the same time, it still holds up. Well, they are saying that the big scare right now is that if you have an Apple product, and this includes computers, okay, there is a major security flaw, I guess, that threatens everything we hold dear. As billions across the globe are scrambling to update their iPhones and Macs, as the tech giant revealed that hackers can control the devices and access bank accounts. So you have to update your software. And, I don't know. I mean, Rico, what does conspiracy theorists say
I was
about
just going to say, what criminal? Go ahead.
What do the message boards say about this? If I update my iPhone, is that the global bank taking over?
How
Or
many
what's the
episodes
deal?
did you get, Herb?
I've seen 4.
Of She-Hulk.
He's like
Yeah.
just that scene on Reasoning.
You're just-
look into it.
Hey, today it's Apple,
You're such a
tomorrow
dick,
it's
dude.
Android. It's not like,
Seriously.
when it comes to
they have to
hackers
give me
seizing
stuff so I
opportunity,
can
they're
talk
going to
about
look
it.
at
They
these,
can't just like let me
any
watch it
little
when
flaws,
you guys
any little
watch
s-
it.
like
well, first off,
cracks
I talk
that
about
they can
stuff all the
slip in
time.
and take
Normies.
advantage.
Get me on the list.
That's a fact. So today it is an Apple thing.
I had to watch
And
4
usually
of them,
Apple's
back
pretty
to back,
good
just like,
when it comes to
make sure it doesn't
safeguarding
stop. So
their
Yeah.
customers
hate
amongst
So
hackers.
I like Mac. Remember, I'm a designer, so I use Mac for all designs. But I was at a Mac computer, right?
Yeah.
And I have those things last me a decade because I'm broke. So I got one and it lasted a while. And it never got viruses. My dad's had 3 PCs in the time that I had that one Mac.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So Mac is superior in a lot of ways when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But eventually they were good. The virus people and hackers were going to catch up. And they're like, we'll just make stuff for that finally.
Yes. And, and that's the thing. So it was only a matter of time. And here's the case. Now, is everyone going to be victimized? No. I mean, you're talking billions of users across the world, and if it's a group of hackers, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. But, it should give you enough time to be able to update your phone and your computer software and all that if you need be.
Did they send you guys text messages, emails? Like, how did they alert you? Did they use that like alarm clock sound they have on there? It sounds like Soviet Union under attack.
No, they haven't done anything, actually.
Nothing?
Yeah, Mac hasn't said anything. I mean, they've released a press release and it's going through the mainstream media.
Word of
so
mouth.
I don't know. I do know this. I was just like, just be safe. Yeah, I'll update my phone. I check out my phone. I'm like, I already have automatic updates enabled, so that's good. But then the bad news is, since I've had my phone for 3 years, my phone's been basically trying to convince me to go get another phone.
Yeah.
So I don't have the memory on my phone now. No matter what I delete, it just magically is less than what I need to update my phone.
Wow.
But that's the bad news. So I can be victimized. But here's the good news. I don't have much. So even if they rob me and they take all my bank accounts, it's something that my life savings could get wiped out today. I could probably recoup that by the end of the week.
Yeah.
So silver lining.
Silver lining.
Yes.
Mhm.
All right, we have a lot to get to, including your morning moron. She-Hulk came out yesterday. I will spoil the hell out of that for you. And a couple great stories, including a man who made a serious life decision when he came across a brick of cocaine. That decision was that he wasn't slicker about taking that brick of cocaine.
That was
Oh man, so much. Let's get into it. We got Ghost coming up after The Offspring and your morning morons. Keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. You know the name of the show. Let's go.
Free. But it's not personally insulting to you. It's just tasteless.
You'll see, here, I got a couple more. I'm just playing Herb, these rejoiners. Well, the problem I have, the takeaway I have from it is that it's insulting me and the audience that is listening. Like, what are you doing tuning into this fucking moron? I'm like, oh yeah, what are you doing paying this fucking moron?
Yeah.
Who's the moron, huh?
Yeah.
All right, so let's see.
Guys, and all the weird stuff here on Beef Vegan Presents. You chose to wake up to Rock 102.1 KFMA.
You're an idiot.
Right.
Chose this.
Yeah. It's your fault that you're dumb enough to tune in.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah. Here's another one.
It's the dumbest show to play on your smart speaker.
What the hell is that?
Beef Vegan Presents on Rock 102.1 KFMA.
All right. There you go, Herb. Are you happy you're here and you're dumb?
Yeah.
What?
You big dummy. You
What?
big dummy. Hey, you should be offended because you're part of the show, Herb.
I am offended.
Yes.
I
You
am
know.
It's a new episode of Ow My Balls.
Yes.
Idiocracy predicted this morning show would exist. But yeah, what you didn't hear is Herb humble bragging that he's seen 4 episodes of She-Hulk. But how many episodes are there in total?
I think there's 10.
Okay, good. So at least you didn't get 50%, and
No.
good that there's 10 episodes of She-Hulk
Yeah,
because
yeah.
this, is enjoyable to a certain extent. So can you at least tell us this? Because I know there's not much you could tell us, but I did say the prediction is that Amazon porn will go through the roof as far as being searched on Pornhub once the episode of She-Hulk Getting It On airs. Is it within the first 4 episodes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, don't be confused. He does not mean Amazon porn, meaning delivery men show up at the door.
I know, I was
Yeah,
kinda
it's
curious
strip.
about
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I
No,
mean,
no, it's no.
Prime porn.
I mean, I will say, I was like, when I saw the scene, I'll just say this. I was kind of like, oh, okay, Disney. Interesting.
also, so it was adult enough to kind of get you to be like, hit up your wife, text her, like, what you doing?
No, I mean it wasn't like Netflix risque, but I mean it was like more than I expected from Disney. Let's just put it that way, right?
Well, because they had to show it. First off, you could imply that She-Hulk is going to get it on, and that's great.
Sure.
But there is comedy to be had there, just seeing the dynamics of the smaller guy and the bigger, stronger lady. And first off, I seen the first episode. Spoiler alert: she could turn into She-Hulk whenever she wants. She could turn back whenever she wants.
Yes.
Just like the comic, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So she doesn't need to get mad?
No.
Really?
Because as a woman, this was revealed in the show. She's always mad.
Which is the joke that remember, that's the quote from the first Avengers. Here's my secret. I'm always angry.
Right.
And then he can turn into the Hulk because he's gotten control of it.
Yeah. And they do kind of mansplain it. Bruce Banner kind of mansplains it in the first episode. And he's like, you got to understand how to be able to control this. And she's like, oh, really? Because every single day I'm getting catcalled. I'm getting assholes talking down to me, mansplaining me, thinking I can't be good at my job because I'm a pretty woman. And what do? I handle it. And that gives her the ability to be able to go in and out. And I mean, it's very clever, and the show is entertaining, and the CGI was fixed. Do you think the CGI was fixed?
What do you mean fixed?
Well, from the preview trailer that dropped, that freaked everybody out.
Yeah, no. It it was not as big of a horror. What was that? Was it one of the Sonic movies?
Sonic,
or one of those?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was just ridiculous. No, it does work, and I will say, when I saw the trailer, I was like, really? And I was just trying to figure out how do they have the tone that works for this show? Because, but to, honestly, to Marvel's credit, not every show can be Loki. Not every show needs to be Loki. You know what I mean? These are different vibes, and Powers, you get it. I mean, it's just,
Let me ask you, if you watch some of these, is this more of a comedy, like as a whole? Like,
yeah,
that's,
it is. And, but
that's
I think
the thing. She-Hulk's comics were a comedy. They're practically a parody of Marvel comics.
Yeah,
You're going to see a lot of funny instances with Abomination is on trial. Like, these are going to lead to very hilarious, kind of interesting circumstances, making fun of the Marvel universe.
Yeah, and I think the fact that she's breaking the fourth wall, which of course she's speaking directly to the audience, that helps you set it up for you where you're like, okay, this is not a normal, you know what I mean? Like it's totally out of left field. But I love all the stuff with for example, you've got Mark Ruffalo, for example, you've got, Tim Roth. It's like, it's so cool. You have all these characters who can drop in this sort of absurd world that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So yeah, it's actually, I said to my son, he's like, I can't believe you're going to watch that. I'm not going to watch that. And I'm like, no, I'm going to give it a shot. And I was like, you know what? It was not bad. I actually enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to who else is coming.
Yeah, I think this would be a great opportunity, obviously, for cameos, little pop-ins. Obviously, there's a Captain America thread in the first episodes. Maybe even Captain America will return. That seems unlikely, but
I'm hoping for Daredevil.
possible.
Yeah, we saw in the trailer Daredevil showing up.
Do you
Remember,
think
lawyers?
Matt Murdock's a lawyer?
Yes, absolutely.
Lawyers.
I think that was spoiled and said, yes, Matt Murdock is actually going to be a part of this somehow. And this is a good way for them to kind of reintroduce a Daredevil into the Marvel universe, more so with the series, which is going to have like an obscene amount of episodes. So longer than 10. They're going to do Daredevil almost like it's an old school television series where it's like 16 episodes to 20 episodes.
Yeah.
Do you recall? Yeah.
It was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah.
So someone on our Twitch said they recognize on the top right of the screen, they recognize Powers from high school.
Clark Kent.
So luckily, I mean, the person's on Twitch, so I don't think it was one of your high school bullies.
Oh, good.
It's probably somebody in one of your nerd clubs. Nah, just kidding.
Nerd
Hellfire
clubs.
Club.
Which one? I can't say.
All right, whatever. Well, I sent you an invite as well. Okay, so Mecca asks, why does she choose to stay in Hulk form to get it on? I think that's an excellent question, but I guess you got to try it.
Well, I can't spoil it.
Okay.
It's a part of the episode. So.
Oh, okay.
I can venture a guess.
Go on.
Okay. I think when girls usually say don't stop and then you stop and you walk away, then you're like, whatever, I don't care. Like you have to like keep going for the She-Hulk. She will murder you.
Straight up.
Stop. I mean, I really want to unpack the fact that girls say don't stop to you and then you stop and walk away. What kind of dick alpha move is that?
Bro, hypothetical.
I mean, it's
For most
hypothetical if you
dudes.
lived it. No, I don't think most dudes.
Hey, you look a little triggered over there, Beef.
I'm just saying, it doesn't seem like a
Face is turning
scenario.
red. Your shirt isn't buttoning. What's happening?
I've never been in a scenario. They said don't stop, and I said, you know what? Since you just told me don't stop, fuck you. I'm walking.
Just towards the window, butt naked. I don't do what you tell me.
You know what I'm saying?
Premature, Jack. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't stop. Snack break.
You can't premature ejaculate with She-Hulk. Dangerous territory.
You can, but
Well,
you
you're
know,
gonna die.
yeah.
That's all I'm
Well, yeah.
saying.
So does that happen? Does she kill the guy for prematurely ejaculating?
Please
Can
tell
you
us this much.
Can you at least tell us that, Herb?
No.
Damn it.
Damn.
I don't want to get in trouble. Then
Do
I
I
won't
say
have these
stop?
early access to the episodes, and then I won't be able to mock you.
Disney's listening
Yeah.
right now.
He's very tight-lipped about
contract.
you know,
About content.
yeah,
yes.
about content with
IP
Disney.
is
I
important.
understand.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's She-Hulk. So, I mean, it looks like it gets better as it progresses. So, if you're watching She-Hulk, then you could be excited about it. And that's the takeaway from Herb being able to get the early access of the 4 episodes. We're about 2 minutes before we get on the air doing some Game of Thrones action here because, I mean, I've been seeing the memes. I know Rico just posted a mashup the other day combining Game of Thrones and who else?
Darth Vader.
Yeah, Darth Vader, right? So he was hitting all the algorithms, and it went over my head. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it is being released. I forgot this soon. So this weekend is when it's dropping. Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah, basically to replace Westworld, which just wrapped up.
Yep. That's exactly right. That's why it's timed that way.
Yeah, fantastic season. By the way, I'm bummed that Westworld is over, and I'm not stoked about Game of Thrones. So, you know, that's 2 takeaways, hot takes, if you will.
How much Game of Thrones have you seen, Herb?
I've seen it all.
Oh,
No,
no,
no.
the new one.
House of the Dragon.
Yes.
I have 1 episode waiting for me at home right now.
This fucking everything he says annoys me. Yeah. All right. So here's the deal. So that's what we're talking about next. Earlier this morning, we did another round of F My Life. It was a doozy. And in case you missed it, it went a little something like this.
Did you get caught self-loving by your mom?
Awkward.
It is awkward. Did you do something that got you fired from your job?
I just get stupider.
It's fun being stupid.
Don't hide this in vain. Let us laugh at your pain. Call 600 KFMA right away.
I promise we won't embarrass you.
Because Beef Vegan presents F My Life. F My Life. F My Life.
Yes, time for another edition of F My Life. These are unfortunate situations. Email to me at beefvegan@kfma.com, subject line FML. But of course, if you have an F My Life you care to share on the air, now's the time to give us a call. 600 KFMA at 600-5362. It is Friday. Rico and Powers and I will weigh in on your F My Life situation. It is Friday, meaning that you've had a whole week to have embarrassing situations. And I know that we have them on a regular basis.
Are these the saucier ones, or is that later?
That's later.
Oh,
yeah. If we even get to that, because we got Herb Stratford in. I don't want I don't want his wife to tell him he can't come on to the show anymore.
It's true.
And we're so close to that point. I swear to you. It's like, you need to tone it down when I'm on. Oh, I'll try. I mean, let me talk about this email I got from this girl who's a stripper who has this problem about. All right, never mind. So let's get into our first email from Mercedes, who's not a stripper, I'm assuming, but it could be. She wrote, today I got my hair dyed at a fancy salon. While the stylist was pulling out the foils of my hair, I sat up and started screaming in pain because the hot foils were burning my scalp. Ooh. All she said was, oh, you're fine. And went back home. I went back home to find an oozing burn wound on my scalp.
Wow.
Yes. F My Life for Mercedes. What do you say, Powers?
Yes, that's horrifying.
All right. What do you say, Rico?
Big baby. Put some aloe vera on it. You'll be fine.
She paid full price for this and probably tipped, dude.
Yes, FML.
Okay, there you go. Once the finances get involved, then you see the grand scheme of things. That's definitely F My Life. All right, next F My Life situation sent to me by Crystal. She said, today the father of my unborn child told me he isn't sure he'll be able to make it to the birth since there's no guarantee of when it will happen, so he can't schedule time off. This would be understandable if he actually had a job.
That's what I was wondering, if he had a job.
He does not have a job. F My Life, Rico.
Have you seen my status on Fortnite? You think I can leave?
That's what I was thinking.
Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah, FML. That's ridiculous.
Right. What do you say, Powers?
Hopefully it's a long labor. I got to hit a save point first. Yeah, that's an F My Life.
Yeah, 100%, Crystal. And the fact that you're having a kid with someone without a job is definitely a double FML. I think you need money to raise kids. I'm pretty sure of it. Well, you don't need much, trust me. And to the next F My Life situation sent to me by Brandon. He said, last week I went to the gym and worked out with a trainer. While doing arm exercises, he commented on how impressed he was with the size of my triceps. That really boosted my self-confidence until he leaned in to feel them and said, oh, it's just fat. F My Life. Powers, what do you say?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
All right, Rico, you work out. Is that enough my life for Brandon?
I would cry in the bathroom. Yes.
All right, 2 more left. Sally sent me this email, bevegan@kfma.com. She said, today my son watched some ridiculous Japanese cartoon of a Shokugeki cooking and is convinced that he's the greatest cook ever by copying what happens in the show. Now, he set fire to my frying pan, panicked, and dumped it into a ceramic sink, which cracked from the heat and flooded my kitchen. Yeah, it escalated quickly. That's my life, Rico.
There's definitely a word for Japanese for that situation. I don't know what it is, but
I'm sure
that's
we can't say it
horrible.
on the air.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not.
All right, what do you say, Powers?
Yeah, let's hope he was recording and got all of that on video.
It's true. Definitely F my life, Sally. Sometimes kids are dumb and they break stuff. All right, final F my life of the day sent to me by Maurice. She said, today I called my dad to let him know some details for my wedding had changed. Right. It would have been really nice if he had paused the porno I could clearly hear in the background.
Oh, God.
F my life, Powers.
Yes, it's horrifying.
Rico.
Doing some research. Don't ask questions.
Let's just hope that he kept his hands free during the conversation. F my life
Ugh.
for sure, Maurice. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beefing Presents, the podcast broadcast. We got Herb Stratford in studio talking about this Game of Thrones continuation, not a reboot. And it's not, of course, based off any source material whatsoever. What is it called? House of the Dragons?
Yeah, but I mean, and it's not, if we're going to be strictly, it's actually set 300 years before the Game of Thrones. So it's a prequel in essence.
Okay. I've seen this before, right? The whole prequel action.
And I thought, Powers, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought it is based on some earlier books by George R.R. Martin.
Targaryens, right?
I can not correct you if you are wrong. I'm not one of them. I like comic books.
Okay.
Those are the types of books I'm
Not actual books, yeah.
I think
that
it's actually
involve-
the lore from way back, like I don't know how many hundreds of years before this series
300,
took place.
yeah.
Yeah, 300 with the Targaryen legends. And all that.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it is based on actual content, unlike the last 3 seasons of Game of Thrones, which were off book, so to speak,
Right.
because Martin hadn't finished the books. So so this is a lot of anticipation. Honestly, this is something that originally they wanted to use to debut HBO Max, right? Because they want to go big with a big series. Whenever they launch a streaming thing, they want to have some content that forces you to sign up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then, of course, Game of Thrones status or style, it's all pushed back and delayed, right? Like they didn't get it done in time?
Well, so the reason is they actually had a different series that they greenlit and shot a pilot for, spent like $50 million on a pilot, right? They looked at the pilot, they said, no.
Garbage.
Yeah, let's go back to the drawing board.
Reminds me
Started
of
a
the last
different one.
season of Game of Thrones.
So
Throw
that's
it out.
So that's the interesting thing is, so no one has seen this, right? This pilot for the show that they filmed. And apparently there's a special spot in the vault for that right next to the original Game of Thrones pilot, which was so bad they had to redo it.
Okay.
So this is not unusual. So we'll see how it goes.
someday, maybe if for content, like people who like to absorb all the content might get the whole crap version releases along with the Snyder cut.
It's possible
all in
because
one dump.
because just like the Star Wars holiday special, right? It was
Yes.
it was legendary, and now you can buy a DVD if you know where to go.
Okay, yeah,
to
building up
bury
the folklore. So they had to scrap the initial pilot, start over from scratch. In the meantime, they released Peacemaker as the first property on HBO Max to kind of get people going.
And it worked.
It
right?
did work.
I mean, it had great buzz.
Got me going.
And so so that's the thing. They like to do that. So I think it's worked out okay. Although we will say, HBO Discovery, because it's Warner Brothers Discovery and that's HBO, they're struggling. They laid off like 70 people this week. They're really trying to figure out their earnings are down like $1 trillion or something. I mean, there's a lot of things that have to happen. So
Yeah, that sucks.
We'll
though. HBO Max is my favorite out of the apps, to be honest with you. I do have, they just been killing it as far as the HBO properties. It's not necessarily Max. I guess just HBO continuing to put out good quality stuff. And I hope for the sake of HBO and to keep it around and keep it going strong, that this Game of Thrones reboot prequel crap goes over well.
I think that's the official title. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm not gonna watch it. Do you see dragons in the first episode? Do you know, or is there speculation there's gonna be more dragons in this?
Well, the whole thing is it's built around.
It's House of the Dragons. You better have some dragons.
Yeah, because it's the Targaryens, and they're the ones that are the dragon riders. They're the ones that control the dragons, and they're the ones that are sort of in charge of Westeros because they got dragons.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's gonna be a lot more dragons. I think they actually said there's 12 or something, and I mean, I'm not sure how you keep track of what they are. They don't have like name badges on or anything.
Right. Well,
collect them all.
Yes, exactly. I guarantee one's gonna have like a dragon mohawk made out of scales. You got to get what
and like some
know.
earrings and yeah.
Essentially, they're gonna take the Gremlin playbook, and that's how you're gonna separate these dragons. And then you're gonna want to be like, this one's my favorite because it's kind of punk rock, and so am I. And it's like, no, you're not punk rock. You're into dragons. You're a nerd.
This one has depression.
Yeah. The Eeyore dragon, and so.
Well, speaking of Gremlins, you saw the whole thing where the guy, the director of Gremlins came out, Joe Johnston, and he was complaining that Baby Yoda, Grogu, was a direct ripoff of what's his name?
And he's 100%
Gizmo.
right. He deserves all of the money. I mean, it was. Baby Yoda is essentially a hairless gremlin. It's a hairless Gizmo. We know it. We see the formula, and I don't know why anyone's surprised by this. In fact,
Disney.
I'm only surprised it took so long for him to point this out.
Yeah.
He should have been trying to cash in immediately. The Disney, Lucas, Star Wars empire, they got some money to throw around, right? And they owe this guy money. All right, we're going to continue to talk about what's coming out to theaters that you might want to see with Herb Stratford coming up after this break, but we'll keep the conversation moving where we're all going to make fun of each other on the podcast broadcast. You can join us on YouTube, youtube.com/beefvegan. The podcast broadcast is live right now. Clear. All right, so.
Yeah, if it was called House of the Boobies, you would have been all over the show.
I would have. I know.
The bait and switch.
Rico, man, you just nailed it right there, man.
House of the Boobies.
And you know what? That's going to be on a porn channel any day now.
It'll be called the bait and switch.
Yeah, actually, speaking of porn, I do want to say a happy birthday real quick. A very special happy birthday to one of my favorite actresses of all time. Okay.
He's got the background music going.
Yeah. It's porntastic. I got it ready for my porn stuff, but give me a second here.
Did you order a pizza, ma'am?
Yeah. I was in a music video that had that same plot line.
It's too bad the cable theme can't be around anymore. The cable guy that comes over to fix it.
They got to come over and hook up your streaming service.
That's right.
I do want to say a very special happy birthday to Nella Jones, or AKA Nella the Nympho. You might have recognized her in hits like Fashion Model Bikini Lesbians, Horny and Stuck at Home, Pitch a Tent Sale, She Got the Job, don't ask what kind of job it was, and Sex, Love, and Rock and Roll. In addition to sex, she loves shopping, hiking, music, and the beach. Happy 25th birthday to Sasha Sparrow. Or Nella Jones.
Now you outed her, man.
I know. I gave her a real name. The way it is in my phone.
Oh!
Just kidding, baby. If my girlfriend's
court
watching
order, you
this, I don't have any porn stars in my phone. Not knowingly. Yeah. All right. So earlier this morning, as we get ready to talk about the movie that's coming out in theaters, Spin Me Round, and then Beast is coming to theaters as well, right?
Yeah, both of them are theater. And actually, Spin Me Round is theaters and streaming, which I always think is weird. Because you're giving somebody a choice.
At this point, I think it's
right?
stupid.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. And honestly, also we'll talk about when we could expect Elvis to show up to a streaming site. All that more after this edition of The Last Word. In case you missed it, well, a little something like this. Man, let me start off with this segment saying that I am an idiot. I've been saying Ghost all morning long because next week I'm giving away tickets for Ghost. But the big ticket giveaway that I'm doing right now is for Five Finger Death Punch, which that's a huge show with Megadeth, and that's going to be at Auction Pavilion next Friday. All right, so I apologize to anyone out there got their hopes up. All next week I'm giving away tickets for Ghost, but right now I'm giving away a pair of tickets for Five Finger Death Punch. Now that we know that, let's play a game. The game is The Last Word. It's a verbal hot potato game. Online 1, I have Teresa. Good morning, Teresa.
Good morning.
And online 2, I have Rusty. Good morning, Rusty.
Good morning.
All right, so here's how the game works. Just as a reminder for everyone listening at home. It's a 30-second speed rounds. I'm going to give a category. We'll start off with one contestant. They're going to go back and forth, giving acceptable answers to said category. Whoever gets the last acceptable answer in before 30 seconds runs out wins the round. Best of 3 rounds wins the game. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
All right.
Ready.
30 seconds on the clock. We're going to start off with Teresa on this one, okay? All right, Teresa, name a celebrity with the last name Jackson and go.
Hugh.
Hugh Jackson. Okay. Rusty.
Yes.
Name a celebrity with the last name Jackson.
Michael.
Okay. Teresa.
Janet.
Okay. Rusty.
Oh, Janet. Oh no, she just said Janet.
That's right.
I'm lost for words.
Oh, Rusty, never give up on yourself, bro.
Yeah.
I would say Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson's a good one.
Bo, but there's also Tito Jackson.
Tito
There's
Jackson.
Lots of Jacksons in the five.
Yeah, just name the family of the Jacksons, Rusty. All right.
I should know the Jackson 5.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all right. Teresa got round 1. So, Rusty, you're going to start off round 2, but you need to get this round to stay in the game, okay? Because if Teresa wins this round, she wins the game and the tickets for Five Finger Death Punch. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Rusty. Name an inappropriate place to have a fist fight and go.
Church.
Church, yes. Teresa.
School.
Okay. Rusty.
Court.
Oh, yes. Teresa.
The office.
Okay. Rusty.
Police department.
Oh, yes. Teresa.
Would jail consider the police department?
Yeah, same thing. Same thing.
Okay. The shopping center.
Okay. Rusty.
Convenience store.
Okay. Oh,
There you go.
yes.
Get in there.
Very Tucson-centric. And I would say that, so Rusty won round 2. Congratulations, Rusty. I would say jail is a very appropriate place to have a fist fight. In fact, sometimes
Yeah.
you just have to, you know. All right, so we're all tied up going into the sudden death round. Now, this one is skewed to whoever's a fan of sports, and I don't know if either one of you are. We're going to find out. Teresa, you're going to start off this last category. 30 seconds is on the clock. Name a UFC fighter who has a 5-finger death punch.
Yikes.
Yes, and go.
Conor McGregor.
There you go, Conor McGregor. Rusty.
I don't know any fighters.
Anyone that's
The only one I know is Ronda Rousey, but I don't know.
Ronda Rousey.
That.
That, we'll accept it. Yes, we'll count it. All right, Teresa.
I'm drawing a blank. Oh my God.
5 seconds. Oh,
I can't think of. I can't. Oh.
Ran out of time. I knew that was going to be the most difficult category. And Rusty, by luck of the draw and shouting out Ronda Rousey, that was enough for you to win the last word and the tickets for 5-finger death punch. Teresa, I'm so sorry. Excellent job in playing the game. You did a great job, but unfortunately today was not your day. Okay.
Yep. Congratulations.
That's very nice. Teresa, I'll tell you what. So you stay on the line. I do have a bonus thing that I can give you. It's not tickets for 5-finger death punch, but earlier I gave her a $20 gift certificate to Rocco's Little Chicago Pizza. Shout out to Rocco. I haven't one of those pizzas maybe this weekend. Hopefully this weekend. I do not want to let the month go by without having that that pizza. Yeah, it's the carne asada pizza. Have you ever had Rocco's Little Chicago Pizza, Herb?
Absolutely. Rocco's awesome.
Yeah, so if you had their Absinthe pizza, which is a once a year monthly special. So have you ever eaten at Taco Absinthe?
No.
Taco Absinthe is my favorite taco in town.
Okay.
It's amazing. It's like, I call it the Sonoran Philly cheesesteak. So it's carne asada with green chilies, sauteed onions, sauteed mushrooms, and cheese. The taco itself is a goddamn heaven sent. And Rocco was like, I love these tacos. They're famous around here. I'm going to take that taco. I'm going to put it in a deep dish pizza. And I swear to you, it is the best thing. It is worth the 30 pounds you will gain by eating the entire thing. Like, I will 7 myself eating that thing. Or I'm just like splitting from the seam.
Get out the air fresheners, ladies and gentlemen.
Seriously, my girlfriend hates it. The fact that I'm just like, I'm sorry, babe. You're just gonna have to love a fat guy here for a good week.
Speaking of the pizza, you're like, hey.
She's like, well, you got to choose between having sex with me or that pizza. And I'm like, well, I'm going abstinent and eating this fucking pizza because it's that good.
Deep dish indeed.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. He knows what makes me laugh. It's like I can take that dirty. That's very funny. All right. What else were we just talking about on the stream? So we're talking about biopics, right? And casting for biopics, and it looks like, because the Elvis movie hasn't been released on streaming services yet. And I think that was supposed to go to HBO Max if I wasn't.
Yeah, it was. And I think there was a question, there's this whole window now where it used to be,
45 days.
Yeah, well, it used to be twice that long. And then they dumped it to 45 days. And then depending on how bad something does, they're like, oh, it's available now. And then they try and get you for $20. And I'm scrolling through the iTunes and I'm like, that's not worth $20. You know what I mean? Like $5, $9. I'm like, yeah, maybe, but to me, $20 is a barrier.
Right. Where they make you buy it. The last movie I did that was with Spider-Man No Way Home, but because I couldn't wait to rent it for the $5.99 or whatever. But
you know what? Buying that one, you're okay. Right. Because I mean, that one, I can see you watching that again. Right.
Yes and no, but it's still $20. And it's like, I'm not too big of a fan of that. But I do want to see that Elvis movie really bad. And I'm just waiting for it to drop. But HBO Max, who's in trouble right now and does need all the help they want, still announced that they're not going to release Elvis after 45 days, which I think is a bad move. Rock 1 2.1, who's this?
This is Daniel.
What's up, Daniel? What can we do you for?
I just wanted to call and say thank you for the chance to go see Ghost. I just got my tickets and I wanted to show some gratitude and say thank you.
Fuck yeah, Daniel. Well, I'm glad that you won those tickets, and it's going to be amazing. I'm going to be at that show as well. So if you see me, make sure you say hi. We'll give each other high fives and
don't ghost
slam a beer together. Don't ghost me, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm super. I've been wanting to see them since like junior high, and when I won those tickets, I remember. I think you told me like, yeah, you get the tickets in August. I was like, man, that's such a drag, but finally got them.
Oh, good. You did finally get them. Good. So they sent that, or you came by and picked them up. Awesome. Perfect, dude. Well, yeah, it's going to be awesome. What a great weekend that Powers is missing out on. So, Daniel, you're going to be my Powers for the weekend. We're going to have the best time. And, best friend forever.
He pays for drinks.
The opener? I forgot who the opener's supposed to be.
It's Mastodon, I believe, and a Spirit Box. So, it's a sick show from top to bottom at the TCC.
Yeah, I'm freaking stoked about that.
Nice.
At least this time, I won't smell like a skunk or something. So
no, you should definitely smoke as much weed as you can and smell like a skunk. It's going to be even better.
No, I don't know if you remember, but I called and I told you how I got sprayed by a skunk.
He's like, yes. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Not weed,
skunk. That was a good F my life, Daniel.
That one doesn't smell nearly as good.
Not only do I remember that, Daniel, I have to get back on the air, but I've had people call up, or not that I've talked to in person, where they bring up that story from F My Life to me. I've had it on several occasions, so very memorable to our audience, and I appreciate that. All right, Daniel, I got to let you go, but I'll see you at the show next Saturday.
All right, for sure.
I got it.
Daniel the Skunk.
Rock 1 2.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Be Thinking Presents, the podcast broadcast. I do have another person calling. I guess I can answer real quick because who wants to hear from Herb, Rock 1 2.1, who's this?
Is that BVO?
Oh, it's Donovan. Oh, Donovan. All right, Donovan, since you are a film critic as well, because you meet all the qualifications, I need you to give me a real quick review of Elvis because I wanted to see that movie so bad. How good was it, Donovan?
I give it a 3.
Gave it a 3.
Wow.
Yeah. See, that's actually spot on. Exactly what Herb said. What was some of the highlights and takeaways from Elvis that you really enjoyed about it?
The music.
Yeah.
I don't care about him.
Right.
The only thing I care about was his music.
Yeah.
I love his music.
Whoa.
Yeah, like nothing like a hound dog. I mean, Herb was saying the same thing too because he grew up with that music. Literally, he was in high school when Elvis first debuted, and so
taught Elvis how to dance.
He died. He died 1 year after I was born.
Okay. Yeah,
he died in 77. I was born in 78.
Look at Donovan dropping facts.
Don, what are you talking about? Elvis lives. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. Do you believe he's on a desert island somewhere just living the life?
I believe if he is. I believe it. He needs to. He had a perfect life. He was taking too many drugs, but he needs to clean his act, and he needs to realize. He needs to realize that hey, I need to back off, and I need to go on my life.
That's true. You know what? Elvis does listen to the show, and Elvis, you should take the words of advice from Donovan. You need to chill out a little bit. You know,
Like, lay off the peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah, lay off those peanut butter sandwiches. You know, he died from holding his poop, so that's not good. Donovan, we got to get back to Herb Stratford. He's getting bummed out because you're basically stealing his shine. I mean, this review is.
Oh, he can live with that.
Yeah, you can live with
He
it,
can
Herb.
live with that.
Yeah, live with it, Herb.
Live with it, Herb.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for the call, Donovan. We'll talk to you in a minute. Miss you, bud. All right. So, Herb, what is the two movies that are coming out this week? Which one should we see, or should we avoid them both?
Well, I mean, the thing is Beast, which is the Idris Elba movie, right? About a giant lion, also starring Sharlto Copley, who was in District 9, which is a great film, right?
Okay.
From Neil Blomkamp. I mean, it's a big digital lion, right? You know what I mean? So it's man versus beast. So, I mean, if that's your thing, if that's your jam, and you take your significant other and, you get a couple of jump scares, sure, that's fine. It's 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, right?
Well, that's pretty impressive. 80%.
That's not bad, right? The funny
Just
is,
for critics?
the story just came out this week about Idris Elba's daughter was trying to play his daughter in the movie, right? Because in the story, he's trying to reconnect with his two daughters. And here's the funny thing. They did screen tests and they had no chemistry.
Is she a
didn't
teenager?
get cast, so she's mad she didn't get cast.
Is she a teenager though?
Yeah.
That's why. That's why.
Yep.
No teenage daughter has chemistry with their father.
Yeah.
No teenager has chemistry with their parents.
Yeah.
That is the last person. My daughter, who
funny.
loves me dearly, has more chemistry with Powers right now than me.
Nice.
I can't wait till she's over this phase.
You know what though? I have more chemistry with Powers than you.
Yeah, well, I'm very charismatic. It's funny because I said the other day, I want to go get that pizza from Rocco's that he was talking about. He's like, I got to do this. I got to go pick up my daughter. And he's like, I do that. And I go, oh, come on, that'll be all right. Your daughter's fun. No, she's not. I'm like, well, we get along.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, she's not right now to me, and it's heartbreaking, but I know it's a phase.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that his real life teenage daughter had zero chemistry. It's the opposite, and that just makes it mean that he knows for sure that she is his daughter biologically.
Yes, that's true. It's been proven.
It's
So,
been proven. A screen
yeah.
test prove it. You don't need Maury Povich to pop in for that.
He reads the line. He's like, honey, there's a lion. She just goes, shut up, Dad.
Yeah. What do you know about lions? Yeah.
You're endangered. You don't even care, do you?
Seriously. But 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. Idris Elba, of course, is a movie star, stud, like chicks like him. So what is the takeaway from this film besides that?
It's just that it's a standard sort of man versus beast thing, just like if that's what you want to do. And, sure. Okay. Yeah, great. A fun sort of end of the summer movie, not as great as Bullet Train, which I loved, but
yeah, surprisingly enough,
actually,
you did love it. And in fact, actually, I think we see a little bit of the lion here on the podcast broadcast stream popping up, but is it an oversized CGI lion?
Yeah, that's the thing. You know what I mean?
That takes it away for you.
Yeah.
So
it kind of looks like Jurassic Park in an African safari park.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Does this have like horror movie vibes? Is it like the tone of a horror movie?
Well, I mean, not in so much as like it's a sentient. I mean, it is sentient, obviously, but you know what I mean? It's not like some guy with an axe. It's like it's a lion and he's trying to prove that he's the apex predator. So
just imagine Idris Elba fighting a guy in a green screen suit.
I know,
Just makes it hilarious.
Yeah. I can't wait to see those shots. So Beast is it's probably the better of the two. The other one, Spin Me Round, our other film this week, is it's actually streaming and it's on theaters, as we mentioned, and it's based on a sort of a true story of an Italian restaurant. In this case, it's called Tuscan Grove, not Italian Garden, right? And basically they send their top managers to this sort of Italian boot camp to let them sort of absorb Italian culture and learn recipes and stuff. Well, nothing is as it was planned, and so basically the guy who's the owner of the restaurant is sort of a nut job, and so it sort of takes these crazy turns. It's written by the guy Jeff Baena, who is married to Aubrey Plaza. Interesting. And Jeff and the star, which is I'm blanking, Alison Brie, she and him have written 4 movies together, and they did The Little Hours. I don't know if you saw that movie about the sort of raunchy nuns.
Yes, that was decent.
Funny movie.
Yeah.
So there's some funny twists here. It's interesting. The main guy, who is the owner of the Italian restaurant, the last time we saw this guy, or last time I saw him, was on Face Off.
Right.
He was Nicolas Cage's brother Castor Pollux
Oh,
or
God,
whatever,
yes, I
right?
know exactly.
So I'm like, why do I know that guy? And then I had to go on IMDb and I found him. So it's sort of it gets a little bit weird. I mean, it's 63% on Rotten Tomatoes. I feel like it didn't really deliver as much of as I wanted it to. But I love Aubrey Plaza. She's better in Emily the Criminal, but she's having quite a little resurgence here with a lot of roles.
That's good. Well, yeah, and let's go back to Alison Brie. You said she wrote this, co-wrote
She
this?
co-wrote it. Yeah.
I didn't know that. First off, I love Alison Brie, and not because of her feet, because the internet's obsessed with her feet, but from Community, Glow, and a lot of other things. And I didn't realize that she was a screenplay writer as well, and she was actually writing a lot of these projects.
Yeah, and Jeff, I had a chance to interview Jeff, and he said that they just have this great working relationship, and they've written 4 movies together. They wrote The Little Hours together, and they just have this thing where they sit in a room and they bang stuff out. Unlike people who pass scripts back and forth,
right?
Internet, right. And then he's just like, it's this great relationship where not only are we writing things that we know are going to be good, but then I know as the actress, she's going to do on screen, right? What we talked about. So it's sort of a cool relationship. And I don't know a lot of people that have that with their co-writers that are also actors, right? It's sort of an interesting thing.
Actors or actresses, I think it's even more impressive to be actress and do this. She's breaking ground, really.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as writers are concerned, and I'll say this too, if I was Dave Franco, I'd be concerned because it seems like she has a lot of chemistry with this screenplay guy. They're banging out a lot of things.
And Dave Franco is now my favorite Franco brother. So, I mean,
he's a vampire movie that just came out.
Well, he was funny in it. It's good. Day Shift on Netflix.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Day Shift. And speaking of Netflix, there is a new series dropping on Netflix that we're going to talk about with Herb when we return after these words. But we're going to keep the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. Join us on our social media or youtube.com/beefvegan. Claire.
I've heard good things about that. I want to watch it.
Day Shift?
Yeah.
I watched it last night. So I tried to watch it twice, right? So the first time I watched it, first 10 minutes and stuff, it was a little too much for my girlfriend because it was action. He's fighting like an old vampire lady. I put it on last night. I think I fell asleep to it in a good way though. I had in background and it was all right.
Rave review. Thank you.
Right.
No, it's not going to be a rave review. Well, what do you think? Did you watch
to
the
it.
entire thing? I mean, you thought Dave Franco was hilarious as a little Weasley nerd guy, which was typecasting probably.
Herb, he's talking.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, you know what? I did watch the whole thing all the way through, and I dug it because I thought it was a nice blend of like Blade, but then also like you don't see enough comedy vampire stuff, right? I mean, not that I need to see 100 of those, but I need to see them that they're well done. And I thought it was funny. I liked it, and I thought I know Dave Franco sort of is typecast as the same thing in every role that he does because he's sort of the. I think about what was the one with Seth, the one with the
21
neighbors.
Jump Street, maybe.
No, Neighbors.
Neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
Where they were like,
he was the frat boy lackey.
Yeah, I mean, he's always sort of that guy, right? But I like him. I think he does a good job. And I don't know. I thought the level of violence was appropriate. I thought it was gory, but I thought it was funny, which sort of puts you off guard, right? You're like, oh my god, and then you're like, oh, that's funny. So
it says it stars Jamie Foxx, Dave Franco, and Snoop Dogg. But I've watched probably 2/3 of this movie. Have not seen Snoop Dogg in it yet.
Really?
Yeah. So maybe I'm only halfway through.
I think you dozed off because he pops up several times.
Okay. Yeah, Eddie Murphy was in a vampire movie, and that vampire movie was terrible. I did like the modern take of vampires in Day Shift, as far as essentially vampire hunters, what they do, what they're after, the kind of rules of vampires. They do put a modern touch on it that I thought was pretty clever.
And I'm excited for the relaunch of Blade, right? With
Are you excited? Because I'm a little wary.
No, I love him. I think Mahershala Ali. I think he's amazing, and I think that it's funny. I even like the other day I was like, you know what? I'm bored. I'm going to watch Blade 3 again because Ryan Reynolds is funny in that.
Yes,
and it's got a ridiculous cast.
Yeah.
I mean, the first Blade is still the best, no doubt about it. But the third one has some funny moments, and a lot of people die. So
that's always good.
Yeah. I know.
Toot Blade. That's how I invented Toot was watching Blade.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, it came out of nowhere with a friend of mine. I'll tell you all the stories.
I mean, that's
That's a Blade origin?
Yeah, it's from Blade.
That's amazing.
I'm watching Blade, and all of a sudden, I just thought to myself, toot toot,
I know.
and then I made that my moniker and catchphrase for 2
That's
decades.
what Wesley Snipes says at the end. He's like, toot toot, motherfucker.
That's right.
Does he say toot toot?
No,
he does now.
Here's the story. Quick, I'll give it to you in a minute.
Yeah, please impress me with it, because so far I'm not.
All right, my best friend and me go to see Blade because we hadn't really hung out, but I was going to move to Tucson. He's like, "I'm going to start hanging out. Hey, want to go see Blade? Sure." We were on some other friends, and it might have been Blade 3. Okay, I think it was, and we come out there. I was like, "Oh, that's pretty funny. That was good. Whatever." Our other friends like, so what was that, worst blade ever? Blah, being all jerks about it. We get in the car. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I thought that was pretty good. He's like, yeah. And he honks the horn. He's like, yeah, toot blade. Right. And then we start saying nothing. He's like, yeah, toot. He then honks the horn for the entire 14-minute drive home. A cop pulls up next to us. He looks at the cop. He's like, and it's one of these things that just gets funnier and funnier. Then it stops. And then it's so funny again. Right. And then we get home and he pulls up to the house, toot home. And ever since then, we just say toot to things we like. And it's just been nonstop.
It's like thumbs up.
Yeah.
All right.
If you've been using this as a catchphrase here in Tucson now for over a decade.
Yeah.
Not even yours.
If you start making money off this, he's going to come back and sue your ass. Essentially,
no.
He's the intellectual
He's
property
dead.
owner.
We know.
Did he die?
No, I'm going back to see him right now.
You went toot.
In fact, he just texted me that he's been no more sleeps till I come visit. That's right. He had texted me a Blade reference the other day on Instagram and just said toot. And I was like, yeah, Blade.
So obscure. I love it.
That's amazing.
Friendship.
Hashtag friendship. Toot friendship.
That's right. Toot friendship.
I mean,
is right.
I love your catchphrase, but the story makes me hate it. I'm sorry.
It ruins everything.
I love it.
All right. Early this morning, we had a really good morning moron story about a lady in meth who went mental. And I actually have a video that I'll share with you after we recap this clip. In case you missed it, it went a little something. TCC next Saturday, the 27th. And I'm stoked about that show so much, in fact, that I have tickets all next week leading into that concert. So if you want to try to win those tickets, all you have to do is listen to the show. We're going to give you plenty of opportunities to score tickets to see Ghost and join me and the rest of the people out there as they take the stage at the TCC on a Saturday night. Stoked. All right. Stokety stoked. It's 6:14 now. Time for your morning moron. Now, we said it before, but we'll say it again. Meth is bad, okay? All right, we know this, and it makes you do some very bad things and make terrible life decisions. The first terrible life decision you can do on meth is take another hit of meth. It's a terrible life decision.
Good point.
There was a woman in Oklahoma named Rachel Clay, and she was detained last Friday after demonstrating erratic behavior, okay? Now, the cops didn't plan on arresting her. You know, she just had she was just temporarily being held, cuffed in the back of a cop car. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, you can't temporarily hold a tweaker handcuffed to anything. Trust me, they'll always find a way out.
They'll gnaw off their own hand.
Yeah, I grew up on the west side of Phoenix. I know my fair share of handcuff and tweakers. I always see them boop. Oh my God. They're like magic. Every tweaker on the west side or every tweaker in Arizona is like David Blaine when they're super high. Mm-hmm. They will find a way to escape. Speaking of which, you could try to win those tickets at KFMA.com.
Well done.
Thank you. Yeah. That's a bonus for my bosses.
Was like magic.
The cops are out assessing the situation when Rachel somehow broke free of the cuffs. That's how spun she was. She hulked it. Like, oh my God, she's on the good stuff. She's on that Walter White.
Her cuffs and grabbed.
So then she reached through the partition of the cop car, saw a box that said gun on it.
Oh my God.
Yes. Opened it and pulled out the cop's AR-15 that was inside. They had an AR-15 just sitting in the front seat of the cop car in a box marked gun. I should label everyone a morning moron in this situation, but this is how it is in Oklahoma. Now, she grabbed the AR-15 and then just started firing rounds out of the window. Just straight up Grand Theft Auto style. She hit a cop and a civilian. She turned into like one of those serial shooters. It was nuts. And then both were treated and released. And the good news is they're going to be okay. All right. Now, Rachel barricaded herself in the car for more than 4 hours before she was finally arrested when she came down.
Yeah.
Yes. That she was charged with 3 felony counts of shooting with intent to kill. And she also tested positive for meth. But let me recap and remind you. She was only being detained. She was going to be released. She wasn't having any charges pressed against her until the meth made her Hulk out, grab an AR-15, and go all Columbine on people. Not cool.
Yeah.
Right?
That could be a Dare commercial by itself. Like, just don't have to have officers going to schools anymore. Just show that news story.
Yes. And there is footage. There's body cam footage. I'm going to show all that in the podcast broadcast because we ran out of time for this segment, but it's insane. So, to recap, okay? Meth is bad. If you do meth every day, you're a morning moron. So we're talking about this lady on meth who went mental, and here's the news footage on this. I just need to show this.
The woman was reportedly barking like a dog and crawling around on all fours when deputies were originally called, but then things went from bad to worse.
Did you hear that real quick?
That's what got them there?
That's what got them there. She was barking like a dog and going around on all fours. That's what made cops show up. And again, she was just going to be detained. She wasn't going to be arrested. And then she escalated it. Now she's never going to get out of prison because this happened.
Mangold with the stunning new video. Very.
Yep. Yeah, Amanda Carl, the new footage comes from 3 different angles. The body cameras of each deputy that responded that morning and a camera that was inside the vehicle where the suspect slipped out of her handcuffs, grabbed an AR-15, and started shooting. Fair warning to some of our viewers, you may find the first footage.
Yeah, fair warning. This can be awesome. Watch this.
Cuffed and in the car. No one saw it coming.
Ow, motherfucker!
Yeah.
Owie! Ow, just got shot. They're like, hey, you okay? What happened? What happened? Like, ow, he literally just got shot right in front of her eyes. This tweaker in the back of the car. Check this out.
Brady County Sheriff's Office says the footage from inside this cruiser shows shooting suspect Rachel Clay slipping out of double-locked handcuffs and reaching past the partition to the front seat.
Our partitions have a small slider where we can get air back to people. She was actually able to reach through there.
Update used to have a small slider. Now they don't give a shit if anyone gets air.
No air for you.
Yeah, ruined it for everybody.
On our console where we keep the gun lock button, she hit it, was able to retrieve a AR-15.
Look at this.
It's a scene from Heat.
It fires away.
We need backup immediately. Start EMS. Start EMS. We got a civilian. Fire!
Yeah.
What the heck?
What the heck?
So south.
Right.
The heck is that? My lord.
That's the thing you forget, how many average days does
Yeah.
the cop have? A lot of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, without the footage, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
A lot of average days, and then that's the day where.
Oh my God!
How
that
is this happening?
That is just unbelievable.
That
Insane,
dude
right?
Got shot in the chest. If that was a few inches over, he's just dead in front of our eyes.
Right. Yep. But the good news is the cop and that guy got shot. They're both going to be okay. That guy, as you can tell, he took it like a champ.
Yeah.
I mean, he cursed. He was like, what the hell? And then cops like, what the heck? Be like, don't say heck, say fuck, motherfucker. I just got shot in the chest. What are you doing talking like we're in church? I got shot by your AR-15, bitch. All right, we got 10 seconds.
It's about a Reno 911.
Yeah, that is
Yes.
100% Reno 911.
Yep.
So there's that. All right, let's get on there. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Just watched a crazy police video on the podcast broadcast stream. You can watch it back on the replay if you subscribe to youtube.com/beefvegan. Now, technically, you don't have to subscribe, but while you're there, yeah.
Oh, you should hit the bell.
Do
Get
us
it
a
all.
solid toot.
Oh, I just stole your catchphrase. Sue him. Somebody's got to sue him. All right, let's talk about this Netflix series that is dropping this weekend, Herb. Did you watch all the episodes?
No, I did not. No. I've been busy watching Dated and Related, which we can talk about next.
Oh, Dated and Related. Wait, what's a it's an incest dating show? Finally.
No.
Oh God.
No, it's not an incest. So we got to talk about this one first. So,
Okay.
So Echoes. This is a show. It stars Michelle Monaghan, who has been in a lot of stuff. She was Tom Cruise's wife in one of the Mission Impossible movies. Anyway, she stars as twins, which is that sort of sets you up for where this is going. It's sort of like a Lifetime movie where there's these twins, and they've been sort of changing, like pretending they're each other their whole life, and one of them goes missing, and the other one's got to figure out what's going on.
Okay,
it's like 10 episodes, but I got to tell you honestly, it didn't do it for me, so I stopped. So it's sort of a Lifetime movie just spread out for a long time.
That's the worst.
So probably not the best thing to sort of recommend people to go to, unless you like the Lifetime movies. Although it's classic woman in peril, right? You know what I mean? That's just it. So
our audience doesn't like the Lifetime movies, I assume. So
that's why I figured we don't need to talk too much about it. So I mean, again, the big issue here is House of the Dragon. And then, next week, we got a lot of good stuff coming up. We got this really interesting doc on Netflix about the guy that was betting on his own games that he was refereeing in the NBA.
I remember this
that story.
And that's all about the Untold series, which
Yes.
I geeked out on at the end of the last episode or yesterday about the Manti Te'o Untold, which was fantastic, and it makes you really feel for the man and felt bad if you were on the bandwagon hating him, calling him potentially gay or that he was in on the hoax. It made you really, for me, the takeaway was to really relate and empathize with Manti being a victim of catfishing.
Yeah, and I mean all these Untold, I've seen a couple of them. All these episodes are really interesting because it's a story you sort of know about, but they dig super deep and they have a chance to really go into it, and you get to hear from people you wouldn't have heard from, and it's sort of a refresher on, oh wow, I sort of forgot about that. But yeah, it's pretty crazy that some of the stuff that's out here. So that's coming up, and then we've got that Sly Stallone movie Samaritan.
That looks good, where he's a mafia boss, and about time, Stallone.
No, that's different. That's different.
Son of a bitch. All right, we're keeping the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. We're going to talk about data related and whatever the hell Herb was talking about, and then we'll wrap things up with your beef tips. Stick around. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. What about the mafia movie thing?
The one where he's a boxer? He's a boxer, right?
Right.
No, the mafia thing is a Taylor Sheridan who did Yellowstone and all that stuff, right?
Yes.
And he does the Boston series. That's a TV series that he's doing, right? This one I'm talking about is a movie called Samaritan, where Stallone plays a guy who used to be a superhero, right?
Okay.
And he sort of disappeared, and this little kid figures it out. He's like, hey, you're Samaritan, right?
That you little shit.
Yeah. And, and of course, what is Stallone? Is he 75?
He's old. He's almost 80.
75.
He's still looking good, though.
So-
Okay. That sounds kind of cool. That's a movie.
Yeah, so that's a movie. And then,
This is a victory lap for Stallone then.
It is.
Since he's getting older and he's getting some projects. But I mean, I saw a trailer of that series. I think it's going to be on Paramount Plus because it is the creator of Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong, but
no, you're right. That's where it is.
all right. And he plays like a Kansas City mob boss or something.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's got a great cast, and you're right. It is sort of a renaissance for him. He's in the media lately. He's been picking a fight with what's his name, the guy that owns the rights to Rocky, saying I wanted a little piece of that for my family, which I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Irving Kershner
He wrote it. It was his. It's his
Whoever it is,
baby.
yeah. So no, he's sort of having a resurgence, and even though the Expendables series is dead,
Yes.
right, that's fine. I hear they're rebooting that as a female-focused Expendables.
I thought they did that.
No,
Did they never do it?
I don't think they ever finished it.
What they need to do is bring Predator in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Have the Expendables versus Predator.
That's true.
That would be great.
Amazing.
Like,
why not?
But then at the end, Alien shows up. So they got a team with Predator to take down Alien, right?
Yeah.
Disney can get it done. They own all this shit.
Sure.
It's true.
Yes, he's just patronizing,
Copyright.
He's but okay, so yeah, I'm sorry, I was just putting
Also coming up soon is Dated and Related. Just to be clear about this is a Netflix show, and it's
Okay.
not that you're dating your sibling.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
That's
then
a
I'm
little
out.
bit. That's a little bit too, Southern country.
Yeah, I've been waiting for a dating show to watch cousins fuck. I'm like, where's the cousin fucking?
No,
It's
no.
on the streaming services somewhere.
No,
Tired of
that's
Pornhub. It's boring.
that's not it. What this is you are there with a sibling, right?
Okay.
And your sibling is your wingman or wing woman trying to sort of help you navigate. Okay.
Oh, I've done that. I
Yeah.
love this. This is so that best friend of mine I was telling you about, Toot Toot. Yeah, Toot Toot. You can bang my sister. You're my best friend. Go for it.
That's a good friend. Yeah. In fact,
okay
actually,
then.
it's
They
one of the
dated for
reasons
three-
why I became friends with them.
They dated
Just
for
to
3
bang his
months.
sister.
They dated for 3 months. They had a good time.
So we'll talk about that when it comes up. But yeah, I just want to be clear. It's not dating your
Same
sibling.
thing. I mean, okay, so you're a good wingman to your sister. You established this. Rico, is your brother, or are you a good wingman to your brother?
He can do fine by himself personally, but yeah, we'd probably be good.
He can do fine by himself. Then is he a good wingman for you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. My
We
sister
actually
would be
just end up
terrible.
fighting anyway at the bar, so it's like we just get mad at each other for no reason.
So you inadvertently cock block each other. This is what, yeah, terrible wingman.
Like, yeah, he's gay. What the hell, man? Always ends up that way.
That's a reality show I want to watch.
Yeah, we fight.
Yeah. So shout out Taylor. Yeah, my sister would be the worst, even though I did bang half of her friends. So
Wonder why she's the worst.
well, she yeah. It was a high school thing. All right. So dating related. What's the other reality show that garbage that you've been feasting on?
Actually the big reality show I'm sort of really invested in right now is Alone which is on the History Channel or Discovery now, where they drop 10 people out in the middle of nowhere. And you try and last as long as you can. You got to build a shelter. You got to find your own food. You got to not go crazy. And you film it yourself. There's no crews there. You have your cameras. They do all that stuff. So you're really by yourself. They do random medical checks. But there's 9 seasons, and I think I'm in my 5th season right now. I sort of can't stop watching it.
He's trying to watch the entire run, which is insane. That's a lot of hours.
How do you tap out in that game? Do you have like a flare gun?
You have an emergency button.
Okay.
And they come, and they can be there within like 15 minutes. But I mean, like several of these people have cut themselves severely, and they've had to evac them out like by helicopter. Some people have tapped out because they just go crazy. Some people are just like, they check them and they're like, they pull their shirt up and you can see their ribs and they're like, you're going home. You know what I mean? You are literally starving to death.
What is this on again?
It's on the History Channel, but then also it's on Discovery. You can find it on Discovery.
It's on Netflix as well, though.
Yeah, some of the seasons. I don't know if all of them are.
Yeah.
You know, here's a random question. This is actually a good speed break question. Okay. Is there a reality show that I think you would do good at a reality show? Rico, like competitive reality show?
Yeah, I think so too.
He'd get booted off though. I think the House would rally against him. Like, this guy's too weird. Let's vote him off. Yeah. So,
I'm not starring in your stupid videos anymor, Rico. You're going home.
No, he's videotaping himself way too much in the show. Like, we're trying to do some work here.
Yeah. But yeah, so what do you think of reality show for each of us? What would be your ideal reality show to be on?
We talked about this once or twice. I definitely have always been told like I should be on Big Brother. I've never even really seen it, but I would do that.
Big Brother is one of those reality shows where you don't have to do much. You just stay in a house and lounge around. So, I mean, that's the only one I'm physically able to pass a physical for. I mean, I was just actually literally thinking about this yesterday watching The Challenge, because the new season of The Challenge, they have people that are older, you know, in their mid 40s, late 40s, 50s and whatnot, all competing on The Challenge. And I know that they have to pass physical to go on this. And I'm thinking to myself while watching this, like, oh, you guys better pray you don't make it to the final. There's no fucking way. Like, and I would be like, I would love to be on the challenge to do all the little challenges, but I would bow out right before the final, because the final is like a triathlon from hell.
It is. Really? Yeah, no, I mean, even if you get to the final, it's almost undoable.
Yeah.
I mean, and they keep trying to up it. Like, oh, last year we made you hike a mile straight up. Now we're going to do 2 miles. It's just like, what?
Yeah.
So,
it was, those finals were invented by, let's say this, if Lance Armstrong and Jigsaw from Saw had a baby, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that is the final. That is the challenge. And yeah, like, I'm like, usually it's a young man's game. And if you're in your 20s and you got good cardio, then all day long. But I'm looking at these people like, oh no, you guys, there's no fucking way you're gonna make it past day one. You're gonna die, man.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and I think that's why. And I'm glad you told me to stick with this new Challenge USA, because it has gotten better. And I mean, you're right. The only thing that's making these guys who are older work is because they've been on Survivor.
Yes.
Right? They've been on some of these shows, not necessarily Love Island, but I mean, you know, they've done this stuff. So they have done some physical things, but you can tell it's starting to separate the wheat from the chaff. I mean, some of these folks are just their mental game isn't there and their physical game isn't there.
Yeah, that's Herb Stratford recapping The Challenge, which is on Paramount Plus and CBS. It's their new series that they're doing on Rock 102.1 KFMA. They're not doing it on Rock 102.1. I'm just reminding you guys that we're on the air. We're on the air, yes. And but yeah, it will be interesting to see where it goes from here, because it's all going to be a global competition. So they start off with the CBS reality stars. I know that they're going to bring back the MTV All-Stars like the CTs and the Johnny Bananas, and they're also going to invite in, they're doing this simultaneously around the world in different regions, and then they're just going to do one series where it's like a global competition, like the Olympics on crack. Which I'm excited about. Yeah, it's a trip. Speaking of trips, I'd like to thank Herb Stratford for making the trip down here to join us on the show. I know we missed you here and there, but thank you for coming back, and we enjoyed it. Powers, good luck on your trip. He's on his way to New York City.
Beep, beep.
Yes, and you got all your watching material for the plane ride all lined up.
It's funny you say that. I forgot, so I got to see what I can download before I get away from this Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you screwed up there. So I hope you guys have a good weekend. Before we leave you, let me give you a beef tip. As always, I have not actually been able to give a beef tip all week long, and I've had certain information to share with you that is, and helpful. I was gonna say important, like how to get rid of the Sunday scaries. So apparently Sunday scaries is a thing. First off, if you say that out loud, you should be ashamed of yourself. Call it something more manly. But it's basically being terrified about Monday. All right. So when you're on Sunday, you feel anxious about the upcoming work week. So there's 2 things you could do to help. And here's your beef tip. Don't leave half-finished tasks for Monday morning. You want to try to build that positive anticipation by planning out something ahead to look forward to this week. So on Sunday, finish up what you had to do the week before as you look forward to the week. Plan something on a Wednesday to look forward to, like going to Rocco's and getting that delicious apps and pizza, going to Thunder Bacon Burger Company, getting a delicious burger of the month, going to Tucson Games and get anyone that actually advertises on Tap Out. I'm just trying to throw a little plug in there before we head out the door.
Yeah, it was well done.
Thank you. All right, that's it. We're out of here. We're ready to enjoy our weekend and start partying it up. So you guys have a safe one as always. Don't forget to drive safe, ride safe, and rock local. Later.
When you wish upon a side of beef,
thank you, streamers.
Will come and
Two Powers. You guys have a great weekend. I'll catch you Monday.
You've been mean or kind of bad, I will knock out all your teeth.